All right. So yeah, let's go ahead and do a little walkthrough of that bot battler challenge. This is one of the harder code challenges, I think, not only in this in this phase, but across the board. So if you did feel like you did good on this one, you should be pretty good for the other ones. If you feel like you struggled with it, super fair. Maybe you will also still be good. So, um, any overall questions before we jump into the walkthrough?
So if we got the harder mock challenge, is it fair to say we will get something similar for the actual?
Yeah, yeah. The actual challenge is this, not exactly this, but like very similar to this. I think minus some of the multi-use stuff. Maybe not, depending on which one we do. But yeah, if you did okay on this one, you'll be super set up for the real one. Kevin,
I
yeah.
have a question. Yeah. So when I did this, I think I got all the deliverables done, but I noticed that whenever I press the X to delete something from the bot collection, it'll
Mhm.
send it up to the bot army briefly, and then they'll both just disappear like within like
Oh,
a second. I don't know why. Would that be a failing condition if this was the real
um,
code challenge?
that would not be a failing condition because it's doing the thing that it says it does.
Okay.
Do you know what the problem is there?
I I don't know. I mean, I think it's the way that I call the delete thing because I have them. Yeah, it might be have something to do with that, but
Yeah,
yeah,
it's an event bubbling thing. So basically,
yeah,
you got your like two layers of event listeners, the one for the full one and the one for the X,
yeah. I have
and then
them
you
both
click down,
separate. Yeah.
fires them both off. Pretty
Uh-huh.
much on the button, all you need to do is do a stop propagation on the event. That'll get for the
Okay,
second one.
that's all that. All right,
Yeah.
thank you.
But I don't think you'll have that problem on the real one because it won't have that same thing. So
Okay.
that
All
should be
right.
good. Awesome. Yeah, great question. Any other? Yep, Joseph's got it. Um, any other overall questions before we jump in? All right, looking good. Let me go ahead and share my screen here. Awesome. Faces over here so I can see y'all. Sweet. So I went ahead and cloned down the challenge and did my npm install and then had the chokenar problem and then had the SSL problem. Got that all working so we don't have to do that on screen. For those of you who have a version of Node installed, this is again the thing you have to do. You can also add that to the npm start. But if you didn't have that problem, you're all good with just me. So I'm going to go ahead and open this up in code so we can close out terminal. Where's code? Where's code? Where's my code window? Great question. Hey, code, where are you at? Let's quit out code and see if it'll open up again. Mm, 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 mm. All right, it's gonna be like that. Studio code. Let's just do it by hand then. Let's open a folder. Open up that one. It's misbehaving today. Cool. So there we are. And let's actually take a look at what we got here. So this is a bot battler. We've got a bunch of robots down here that we can bring into our robot army, and then we can do some stuff with them. So I did the npm install. I'll start the server up here. Pop that open. And come on, buddy. That's the data server. Great. So we can see that we have our bots data coming in. Bots, we are getting an array back with a bunch of objects that have IDs, names, health, damage, armor, class, all the stuff that we'll be using. pop open another terminal and start. And are we gonna behave? Yes. Wide open over there. No, we're not behaving yet. Mm-hmm. Oh, there we go. I should just put that in my profile, but I'll do it later. Let's try it one more time. There we go. Cool. So this is what we should see when we start up. Awesome. So what do we got to do here? Let's take a look through our components, I guess. We have some components. The bot page is the highest level page that has the bot collection and bot army. And we'll be using the bot card and probably won't be using bot specs. That's advanced deliverable. So we'll probably just be using bot card and that'll belong in both places. So I'm going to kind of run through the first one because that should be second nature to y'all at this point. If it's not, holler and we will work on it. See the profiles of all the bots rendered in bot collection. Let's just go ahead and do that now. So our bot page is our top level here. App brings in bot page there. Bots page. Is it bots page? It says bots page. Cool. And so we want to in our bot collection, we're going to get all the bots from our API here and put them in there. So right now, I'm going to do start here with the code for step one. That's nice. I'm going to put this in a const. Equals that. We want to load stuff up the first time when it loads, and we want to do that only once. So we're going to use effect, and our function is going to look like we're going to do a fetch to the API, and then we'll turn our response into JSON, and then let's just console log it out. Make sure we get it. I can spell then. And since we only want to do that once, we're going to give it the empty dependency array, so it knows to only do that once ever, no matter what changes. So let's make sure it is console logging out the right stuff. Yeah, that's fine. Cool. We are getting all of our bots there. So we've got our data, and so this is where in our JavaScript one we would do our render bots. We're doing React, so we don't need to do that. React does it for us, assuming we have some state that it's going to be watching. So let's go ahead and make our, I'm just going to call it bots for now. And set bots. That's going to be a new state. And we want to start off with an empty array in state because, again, we're going to be mapping through at least the bots in the various collections. And so if that is undefined when we start, we're going to have some problems. It's going to say map is not a method of undefined. So always make sure that your default state matches up with the state that you're going to be using. If you're getting an array, use an array, object, and so on. So then here, all we need to do is take our, so we're, get our JSON, and we're going to set bots JSON. Since we are just passing that in, we can just give this the function set bots. So this is the function that then is taking that we're telling it what to do with the data it gets back. So the data it gets back, we want to set bots. And that will update the bot's state when we get it sent back. When the bot's state is changed, we're going to it's going to re-render the page because it's watching that state. So in theory, we should be able to now, when it reloads, look at our components tool and see that in bots page, we have a state with all of our bots in it. Great. So now we just need to take that state and render out all the bots. So let's see what we get here. We want to put it in bot collection, right? Bot collection. Yeah. So let's pass our bots into bots collection. Bots are bots. And let's go into bot collection, and we're gonna take bots out of props here. Go here. So we have bots destructured out of the prop, and we will throw our bots into a map, because we're gonna map over them. So again, this will work if it's empty. So we're gonna map over it, and I'm gonna say for each bot, let's try doing it the right way. For each bot, we want to return a bot card, right? And we'll send the bot in as that, and we need a key. Like that. Fix all those. We want to close that off. We want to close that off. Yeah. What did I miss here? Bot map, bot card. Why is it yelling at me?
I think it's a closing.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, on your bot ID.
Perfect. We also need to import the bot card here. Does it give me a shortcut to do that here? On the Red Twizzler, quick fix. That'd be cool. No, but we're just gonna import bot card from bot card. Great. So now we are taking the bots, destructuring that out of the props. We're going to map over it, and for each bot in that list, we're going to turn that bot into a bot card and pass that particular bot in as a prop, which we now need to go in and take. So hey, it's already destructed that out. Oh, it's already done a lot of that work for us. Awesome. So I wonder if that'll just work. Look at that. Cool. That is that part. Again, hopefully this part should be pretty, you should be pretty comfortable with this part. Anyone at this point not having a good time with with doing a fetch and getting all the stuff on the page. Fetch the data, put in state, pass the props, map over it. Everyone good with this part? Awesome. It's so nice that they did all that work for us. Cool. So let's look at part 2. And again, if you have any questions at any time, just holler and I'll stop and we'll take care of what you need. So right now we want to add an individual bot to the army by clicking on it. The selected bot should render into the your bot army component. Bot can only be enlisted once. That is the key phrase that might help you find a good way to do that. And it does not disappear from bot collection. So I actually want to hear what folks did at this point to implement that. So we put a click handler on, click it. What happens when a bot gets clicked in your code?
I made a event handler for a card, and then in app or in bot page, I set a state for a selected bot that I could then put on your bot army.
So you made a second
sent through
array
via
state?
props. Yes.
Cool. That's a way to do it. Anyone else do that or something else? Who got it working that made a second array? See hands.
I didn't get it working and I made a second state array.
Did anyone do it differently, or did everyone else not get that part working?
I did it by setting a click event that was passed through to the main page and doing a .find.
Oh, what did you do a .find on?
Let me go back to it. For .find, I did set, actually, no, I did do a different array. I did one for the army.
Yeah.
And then looked through what was already in there.
Awesome. Cool. That is definitely how most people do it. And that is how, I mean, that's how I did it the first time too, because it makes sense, right? We have two different sections here, they're going to be showing two different pieces of data. So it makes sense to want to make a second state here. So we'll do like const enlisted bots.
Yeah, I did the same thing there.
Cool. Yeah, and that totally makes sense. And let's make it work that way. So we are going to go into our bot card, and I believe there's a place for a click handler here. That is the X on click. Great. So here's where we are doing our clickaroonie here. So we want to give it a handle click, I guess. So we'll pass in a handle click there, and we will actually, let's pass in the bot as a parameter there. So do a handle click there. Might rename it to something more interesting. So in our bot collection, we're going to have to pass that in through, and I'm kind of walking backwards through this part. You can also do it forwards. So in here, we would want to throw a handle click equals handle click, which means we're going to need to grab a handle click out of here. Which means we need to pass it in on the bots page. And I'm just going to call it handle click here, but that's definitely going to change. But we're going to make a function here called handle click. It takes a bots. And I'm just going to have it right now. Click that bot. So if I hook that up right, no guarantees. When we click on a thing, it should console log out the bot name. Maybe reload. There we go. Clicked on. Good job. Good job. Let's try actually doing that. Cool. There we go. Clicked on undefined. Oh no. Why is it clicking on undefined? Let's just see if it's gonna. That I'm not passing in the right thing. Yeah, object. What is that object? Oh, because I'm passing in the event, right? Bot card. Yeah, so the click is the event. So this is the event. We don't need to click that, but handle click bot's coming from there. I don't need to override bot there. Goof. Cool. Click on object. Let's change it back to the name. There we go. Okay. So now we know our click handler is passing in the right data. So let's go ahead and we're gonna do the same thing over here, right? We're gonna say bots is enlisted bots, which is empty right now. And we're gonna have to hook up the bot army the same way, right? So bot army is going to map bots. Got bots map. We're going to turn each bot into a bot card. And that part's going to have key. And we're going to pass in the bot equals bot. And since we're using bot card, great. Since we're using bot card, that's already hooked up. So in theory, when we add a bot to enlisted bots, that should work it. So I think all we need to do is say set enlisted bots. And since we can't change state, we can only update state. We need to create a new array. We need to spread out the current bots, and add our new bot in there. I feel good about that. Let's see. Wow. Encountered children with the same key. Did it now? Oh, because probably why is it doing that? Ooh, Oh, because I'm spreading out bots, not enlisted bots. Hey, there we go. Cool. So now each one is being added in there. That works fine. Oh, but we can add it twice. Look at that. So if we want a WH93, we can do that as many times as we want. This is when we're getting the multiple keys thing. And also, we're not, bot can only be enlisted once. So we would need to add some code in here. We would do like, I don't know, like if, not enlisted bots includes our bot and so on, then we wouldn't do the thing. That feels like a lot of work to me, and I'm lazy, so I think I'd like to think about a different way of doing this. Any thoughts on a different way we might be able to do this? And the key trick is, again, the bot can only show up there once. Almost a clue. Ternareth ID, maybe. Here's another hint. You can change the data in the bots array. You just grab that data as your data. You can do what you want with it. You could move it, but it says it still wants to stay there. The bot disappears. Oh no, it doesn't. The bot disappears. No, here it is. Bot does not disappear from the bot collection. So we don't want to move it. And copying it, we would still have that same problem of having to check. So let's try it this way. I'm going to get rid of my enlisted bots array here. So we don't have an enlisted bots array anymore. So if I wanted to pass in bots, what is a way? So we haven't changed any data yet, but just sort of thinking ahead. What is a way to only include some items in an array? Given an array.
Is it like slice or splice or something?
So that is a way. Let me be more specific. What's a way to transform an array or return a transformed array that only includes certain members of that array given a
Filter?
Yeah. And I'm gonna say I want only the bots enlisted. So only the enlisted bots. Right now, this doesn't do anything because that's not a thing in our data. But we could change that data. So I think all I'm going to do is say, I'm going to go ahead. I need to set bots again. And since we need to copy it, we need to make a copy here. Well, actually, I'm not going to make a copy of it that way. I need to change only one thing in there. I want to change only the bot that I'm looking at, the bot that matches the bot that I'm passing in. I need to change only that bot to have an enlisted equals true. I'm going to do that with a map since I'm changing an array into an array of the same size. So let me sort of backtrack, sidetrack here. Coming just from JavaScript, right? We would want to say like, we want just a bot with the ID. So like, bots find bot with the bot ID equals, we need to use a different variable here. BAD equals our bot ID. And then we'll just say enlisted equals true. So that would find that one bot and change enlisted to true. But since we are changing the data in bots and not replacing the state, we're not updating the state, React isn't going to know anything about that, and it's going to mess everything up. So it's A, not going to render, and B, going to mess everything up. So I'm going to break this out just a little bit so it's a little bit easier to see, I think. I'm going to say new bots. And I'm going to say that bots map. So I'm going to change the bots array into a new array of the same size. And I'm going to say for each bot, if this is not, well, if it is the one we're looking for. So if I need to use a different variable here. So if the ID is the same as our bot ID, so if this is the one that we're looking for, if this is the bot that we're looking for, then is it the one I'm looking for? Question mark. Then I want to return a new bot with an ID. So this is where I need to spread it out. Bot and enlisted is true. And otherwise, I'm just going to return the bot. Same thing. That looks a little gross. But this is the kind of idiom, the syntax you're going to be looking at a lot with React. Lots of maps, lots of sorts and filters. And especially when dealing with state, doing a map to just change one item is something you're going to see an awful lot. And we'll just say new bots. So again, here, this is taking our current bot array. We're going to, we need a new array out of that. So we're going to map it. And for each bot in there, we're just calling it B because we already used bot. For each thing in there, we're going to check to see if it's the one we're looking for. So if the ID of the thing in the array is equal to the thing that we're passing in, the IDs, if those match, and we're just using a ternary here. If that matches, then we're going to copy that array or copy that object with spread and set the enlisted property to true in that. Otherwise, we're just returning the same thing. So we're getting a new array that's exactly the same as the old bots array. Only one of the bots has a new property called enlisted that doesn't exist in our data, right? There's no enlisted in here. If they wanted to give you a clue, they would put enlisted false on all these, but they don't. So this should, with our one bots array, give us just that information. And so now, since we're just doing bots filter on enlisted bots, I got a feeling that this is actually going to work. Maybe not. I'm like 80% sure. Let's see. Get rhyme 66. Uh-oh. Hey, look at that. Oh boy. Oh, that's because I haven't figured out a better naming convention for this. We're returning the bot that we clicked on. And then be there. I'm gonna call it, just for clarity, let's do this. Clicked bot. Make all these bots. The importance of naming. The bot there. Nope. There. Cool. All right. Maybe that's a little bit more clear. So in the function where we clicked on a bot, gonna get rid of that. We're making a new array. We're mapping over the, nope, we don't want to do click bots. We want to do bots. We want to map over our bots state. And for each bot in there, we're going to see if that bot ID equals the ID of our clicked bots. If it does, if that's the one we're looking for, we're going to copy that bot with an enlisted true state. Otherwise, we're just going to return that bots. Okay, now I'm like 90% sure. Let's see. Let's try WSD93. Hey, look at that. And if we click them again, nothing happens. Because if we click on something more than once, all we're doing is saying, set that bot enlisted property to true, which it already is. So that's it. We don't have to change anything up here. This is a way to do it. This is the way that I prefer to do stuff like this. That doesn't make making a second array wrong. If it works, rule one, right? Make it work. So if it works, great. And if you did that on the challenge and it worked, absolutely no problem at all. As long as it does the thing, and it doesn't put the bot in more than once, and it leaves the bot in the bottom, that passes. This is more of a rule 2 thing, like make it understandable. So if we were making this a larger app with different things on it, there might be a 3rd panel or 4th panel with different things. This way we don't have to add a 3rd or 4th array. We might, in fact, will probably wind up doing a similar thing with the enlisted stuff, so we can keep different states on there and do stuff. So this is something that you kind of learn just through experience by playing with it and getting to a point where it's like, oh, I wrote that function 3 different times, almost identical. Maybe I should make it different. Or I'm creating a bunch of extra data structures in a way that makes me uncomfortable. You start to develop that nose for code smells. But again, this is a way to do it. This is the way that I like to do it. It is easier for me. If this doesn't make sense to you, don't do it this way. The most important part is you do it in a way that makes sense. I encourage you to stretch a little bit and try different ways of doing things, because when you come up against a problem, you will have that curiosity of what's another way I could do this? Do I want to change the data a little bit? Do I want to change the way I process it? So just something to think about there. But this is a way I like to do it. This is and it looks like it works. So I'm happy with that. Oh no, look at that. When we click on something up here, we get all sorts of errors because handle click's not a function. I wonder if that's going to come up later. Cool. Any questions about this whole thing? Does what's happening with
Sorry,
yeah.
I have a clarification question real quick.
Yeah.
So in your bots army component down there, you're essentially using like the same state, the same array, and then you're just filtering out bots that have the enlisted thing defined. That's all that's going on down there.
Yep, exactly. Yeah, because great question. Because if the enlisted is not there, that property will come up as undefined, which is false in a in a logical operator. So yeah, we could explicitly set all the ones to false as they come in, maybe, but we don't have to do that. Since it's undefined, it'll come out as false. That's a great question.
Makes sense.
Yeah. And this filter thing, this is something that you will use in a lot of places in React applications that deal with lists of things. Like, oh, I want to show all of the products in this category that I've selected from a dropdown. I'll use a filter on that category. Or I want to see only users that have the admin privilege. So only show users that have that. Stuff like that. So you'll be using, and same thing you could do a sort. If I want, I'll sort by date, filter sort on the same array. You don't have to make a new array. Yeah, but the filter stuff in React is, you're going to see it all the time. Maybe even on the code challenge. Yeah, awesome. Other questions? Cool. So let's take a look at our next part. Oh, look, release a bot from my army by clicking on it. Bot disappears from your army component. So by clicking on the bot, we want to remove it from here only. It still stays down here. And right now, clearly, we're getting all sorts of errors because there's no clicky clicks. So let's add some clicky clicks. Well, right now, let's just add a handle click equals. Ooh, what? Handle click equals what? I don't know. ... question mark. Let's think about that in a minute. First, let's go into bot army. And we definitely do want to have a handle click in here. And we definitely do want to pass it in. Click. Handle click. Cool. And so now notice something. I think I actually did it straight up this time. I didn't necessarily mean to. Sometimes I named it something specific. Often I'll name this like enlist bot in the card. And like, oh, cool. When we click, we'll enlist the bot. Great. And that'll work fine. That's totally cool. Because that's what we were doing then. It's good to name things what it's doing. But now we're using the bot card in two different places. And the bot card is going to have different behavior in those two different places, which means that we kind of want what we're calling it in here, at least, more not generic, but more specific, more descriptive of what is actually happening. If it was only handling the enlist stuff, handle enlist in here would be totally good, or enlist bot, or whatever you want. Now, since it's going to be doing different things depending on where it is, we want to be more descriptive about what's happening with this card. And what it is actually doing is handling a click event. And inside the card, literally all it cares about is someone's giving me a function to run when I click it, and I'll run that when it gets clicked. I don't care what the function is or where it came from. All I care is that you sent me a handle click function, and I'm going to run that handle click function. And so same with the collections. Like, we're going to take a function that's going to be a click handler for the things in our function. We don't care what it is. Just send us a handle click and we'll do it. Which brings us back here. So now we kind of want to think about, and again, like, I'm probably more of a stickler for naming than 90% of people that you're going to come across, just because I've burned myself so many times being like, what does this stupid function do? 6 months ago, Mark, why didn't you name it what it does? So thinking about what things actually do, it really helps you as you become a more experienced developer. More experienced meaning you made more mistakes and figured out how to fix them, including ones that you did. That being said, so now we're still calling this handle click because the collections still are asking for a handle click, but I actually want to call it something else here. And since it is enlisting the bots, this one, I think I'm just going to call it enlist bots. So now the handle click function is a function that we're giving it called enlist bot. So that tells us that we can probably do something similar here. What's the wording they use? Release. So we'll release bots. And that means we need to make another function. And it's going to take, fingers. It's going to take a clicked bot again, and we're going to do almost the exact same thing. The only thing we're going to change is we're going to set this to false. So I'm going to copy paste this, which I do not recommend doing. And literally the only thing we're doing different here is changing that to false. So now if there's a bot in the bot army, it's going to call release bot, which is going to set enlist to false. If we click on a bot in the bot collection, it's going to call enlist bot, which sets enlisted to true, which adds it to it. So I'm relatively confident this is going to work. There we go. Hey, red, hey, green. Cool. And notice an interesting quirk of the way we're doing it is that if I click on this one, it's going to add it to the front. If I click on this one, it's going to add it to the back, because these are still in the same order that these are in, because we're going over the same array. Let's see what happens if we click it to release it. Moment of truth. Hey, look at that. Awesome. So that actually works. So again, since we did this thing here, that makes it kind of easy for us here. If we had two arrays, we could still do it relatively easily. We would just filter out the array on things. We would filter out the bot that matches in the second array. That is a way to do it as well. Release bot would look like enlisted bots, set enlisted bots to enlisted bots filter. That'd be a bot where it bot ID doesn't equal click bot. And that would be that. A little bit simpler on the releasing side. Or is it? Before I play with this code a little bit, any questions on this, on passing different things to components in different places? Feeling either all right or confused enough that you don't know what to ask?
I have a quick question mark. So I understand the functions for in the spot and release spot decently enough. The thing that I'm slightly confused in is that you're passing click bot. Where is it that we are defining click bot?
Yeah, so this is actually down in bot card. So bot card, again, remember, is taking a handle click function, which could be anything, and basically saying when we click the card, we're just going to call handle click with the current bot that we're getting in. So whatever bot the card is displaying, that's the bot that's being passed into the handle click function. And so that's where this click bot comes from. That's the bot in that here.
Okay, gotcha. So it's not like we're just referencing that in a way, but it's not like declared as like a variable or anything anywhere else.
Yeah, it's just what we call it in the parameters here. We could call it, call it sandwich, and spell it wrong. whatever is getting called in there. It's just local to the function. It's just a parameter to the function.
Thank you.
Yeah, you bet. Great question. Anything else over here? Awesome. So this rule 1, this works. So this does kind of set off my code nose a little bit, because I do have 2 functions here that are almost identical except for one little thing. And so my instinct to do this is to for rule 2, make this a little easier, instead of, so I have to look at 2 functions and then like read them both to make sure they do the right thing and they have the right thing in there. So these both do almost exactly the same thing. The only thing that's changed here is that. So I'm actually gonna make a function here. I'm gonna call it I'm just gonna use enlistBot because we're gonna use that same. I'm gonna call it the same thing. So enlistBot is what I would like to call. And I think what I would like to do, since the true and false are the only thing that are different, I think I want to pass that in as a parameter. So I'll call it enlist. And just to make things easier, I'll make it true by default. So if we enlist bot with just the bot name, enlist is going to be true. And now I can just put enlist in here. Get rid of that second function altogether. And so now, so there's 2 ways I could do this, right? I could make another function, release bot, but that just calls enlist bot with bot and false. So this should still work the same way. He said making it work. Yes, cool. So I could do that. I think just for the sake of code hygiene, I'm just going to put it down here. So instead of calling a release bot function, I'm going to just give it a function, bot, enlist bot. So when we handle click on bot army, it's going to pass it in this whole function, which takes in the bot and just calls enlist bot on bot and passes it to false to say unenlist it. And so now we'll have one little function here that we're using in different ways. And does that still work? 99% sure that'll work. Hey, that works. Cool. So this is refactoring. This is refactoring your code. And in fact, I'm just going to, since I kind of pulled this out to make it easier while I was working on it, but now I have a pretty good idea of what's going on, I'm just going to set bots to this whole thing. Get rid of that line. Boop. So we're setting bots with that bot map, and again, should do the same thing. check just in case. Great. And yeah, so refactoring is, so rule 1, we made it work. Refactoring is rule 2 territory, where we are changing the code to make it a little bit easier to understand. But the most important part is when you refactor your code, the code should behave exactly the same way. And as far as we can tell, it does. So that makes my little programmer heart happy. Cool. And it reads a little bit nicer, I think. But that's just me having all this burned in. This may be completely opaque and meaningless to someone else, and in which case they would write it differently. Or if your team that you're working on has a different standard, like, oh, we don't do X, Y, or Z, then you would write it a different way so that everyone on the team can read it the same way. Awesome. Any questions about that or anything else that we've done up to this point? Cool. Sweet. So let's take a look at our last deliverable: discharging a bot from their service forever, sending them to recycling. We're going to click the red button marked X, which is here. Red button marked X. Great. That will delete the bot both from the back end and from the YourBot army on the front end. Great. So, we're gonna do some stuff here. So that's a patch, isn't it? That's a bold lie that I used. Delete. No, that's delete. That's a delete bot. Yeah, still a lie, because I said there wouldn't be any deletes on the code challenge. I don't know why that's still there. So let's do the, let's do the front end part first. I think that'll be the easier way and the more pertinent to what we're actually doing. So we want, again, let's work from the bottom up here. So let's take a look at where our, great. So when we click that button, we should see in our console, add code to connect event listener. And again, like I think Kevin was saying, it's actually doing both things. It's doing that and the other thing. So the first thing I want to do, and this is usually the last thing I do, but since we're talking about it, the first thing we want to do here is take the event, and I'm going to throw this in curly's just for now. I'm going to event stop propagation. And so that means, so again, the sort of geometry of how events work is that the, it's going to, the bot is sort of like the top layer card itself, and inside is the button that it's hitting. So the event comes down until it hits something at the bottom that throws an event, and then the event bubbles up and kicks off listeners as it comes up. So it's going to click, it's going to hit this event listener first, and then it's going to hit the event listener for the button on the top layer. But if we say stop propagation, that means stop here, don't do anything up above. So that means that if we put some buddies up here and we click this, we should only see the message and it should not come off. Yes, and same down here. Yes. Okay, great. That's usually the last thing I add, but let's do that first because that's important. Does that make sense to everyone, that part? Event bubbling is a little bit arcane sometimes, but again, it comes with practice. So we don't want a console log there. We want to, again, what's the wording they use here? Discharge. Let's discharge bots. So in this case, I think I am going to call it discharge bot, because that's a very specific thing that this specific button does no matter where it is. So I'm going to say discharge bot, and again, we're going to pass in the bot. Now we're going to put in semicolons because we're not animals, like Python people, or Rubies. I like punctuation. It's good. Tell us where we're at. But other people disagree. It's fine. So now I need to pass that in. And since we are still passing props around, we're going to have to pass it into both of these from the bot page. So let's right now say function discharge bot. We'll call it the bot. That's super bad. I don't like that. We're going to change that later. And I'm just going to say control log. We don't love you anymore. And now I'm going to pass this into both of these. So discharge bot equals discharge bot. Discharge bot equals discharge bot. And then in both of those, I need to wire that up. Discharge bot equals discharge bot. We need to get it in here. And then we need to do it in the bot army, bot collection. Same thing. Discharge bot equals discharge bot. We need to take it in here. Great. So there's a lot of wiring we need to do this. We need to make our function up top. We need to pass it into both those collections. Both collections need to pass it down to our click handler. That is a lot. And the click handler has to grab it. This is a little bit too much wiring for me. There are better ways to do this that we do not teach you, but I will teach you for sure after the code challenge to use on your projects. So there's state management libraries like Redux or Recoil or MobX or anything you like that lets you handle your application data without all this gross wiring. But we'll worry about that after the challenge. For right now, we're just passing down props, which are our click handlers. So assuming I did all my wiring right, I should be able to click on an X and it will console log out, get out of here, bot name. Let's see if that is true. Get some bots unlisted. Does it work up here? Get out of here, P24. Get out of here, W Hertz 93. I feel good about that. So let's go ahead and get those bots out of here. Send them home. So, and I feel like this one should be pretty straightforward for us, right? Because we're actually just removing a bot from the array. And that's what we were talking about with if you're using the 2 array setup for your enlisted bots, it's going to be the same principle. So I'm just going to set bots. And I'm going to filter out the bots. And I'm going to filter. So for each bots filter for each bot in there, so the filter is anything that is in this function that returns true, I'm going to include in the new array that I'm returning. So I only want things where the bot ID does not equal the bot ID. And I'm going to change that name because I hate it. Discharged bot. It's a little bit too close to discharge bot, but we'll take it for now. Get rid of that. So again, all we're doing is that click handler is passing in a bot. We are updating the state set bots to the current bot array. We're going to filter that array so it only includes bots that do not have an ID that matches the one that got clicked. Updates the state, components re-render, and that should remove both of them. Let's see. Add our crew here. I'm going to unenlist. That still works. Make sure everything that used to work still works. And let's go ahead and discharge rhyme 66. Your name is too long. Hey, look at that. Let's discharge from up here. Let's discharge from down there. Great. These all work. Unenlist, unenlist, unenlist. They're still there. Feel like we did it. And it's only discharging. It's not putting it back up there. So that's cool. And that is our core deliverables. We passed.
So we don't have to have that change persist on the back end for the code challenge.
I'm going to say that you don't need deletes persisted. If it says patch delete or post persisting. If you pass it without putting that in there, I'm okay with that. Because I don't think, am I lying? Am I lying? I think, I don't know. I'm okay with it. I think the other ones may have you posting. If you can get it to post, I would like to see it, but yeah. I'm going to say that if you post deletes and patches are optional on the code challenge. Officially.
Thank you.
Yeah. So that's the same as the phase one. If there is one on the code challenge and you do it, gold star. And that's that. We finished the code challenge in an hour. Look at that. I'm not going to get into the advanced deliverables because over an hour is too much for people to sit and listen to. So yeah, what kind of questions do we have about this?
Not one as much about this. So this is recorded, so we'll have access to that. Could you also post a link to the repo?
Yeah, I'll throw this up in a repo and
Okay.
yeah, I'll put it in a branch.
Would you be able to do a real fast breakdown of the whole deliverables? I'm pretty certain most of us got the first one, but like the second, third, fourth one, if you would be able to just do a quick rundown of how that works again, if possible.
Can you say that again? I missed the first part.
Oh, sorry. Would you be able to break down like real quick of how you were able to accomplish the deliverables?
Yeah,
I don't know if you'll have to do the first one, but I mean, if you do. I just know we're coming up on lunch, so.
Yeah, so the core deliverables, right?
Yes, please.
Yeah. So seeing the profile of all bots rendered in bot collection. So that is where we are doing a fetch to our API. So we do a fetch, we put that in a user effect, so it gets run once at the beginning and never gets run again. We are fetch the API, turn our results into JSON, and then we send that JSON to the set bots thing in our state we've set up here. So when that comes back, we'll have our bots in our state. And since we want to see those in the bots collection, we pass that in as a prop there. We need to grab it in our bots collection, pass it into a map of bot cards. So for each bot card, we're going to show that. And the bot cards is taking the bots and displaying them there, which gives us our collection up top. Adding the bot to the army by clicking on it. This is where we are grabbing a handle click from the bot card, hooking that up here. So when it gets clicked, it's going to call a handle click with the bot. These are also getting passed in through the bot collection from the bot page. And we're just calling our endless bot function with that bot. And that's just saying update the bot's state with a copy of the current array. And we're going to map over that copy so that everything is exactly the same, except for the bot that matches the bot ID that we're clicking on. Then we're just going to make a copy of that bot with enlisted is true. And so that state updates, it re-renders the components, and everything's good there. Releasing the bot is very similar. We add our handle click here. We're calling enlist bot with false, so it's going to set the enlisted thing for that bot false, and that's passed through the same way in your bot army to handle click. Handle click is being called in bot card the same way, and that sets our enlisted to false for that bot. State is updated, re-renders, and removes that from the top up there. And then our last one is discharging the bot, which removes it from both places. And since we're rendering both places from just one array in state, that just means we need to let's look at the function first. So all that means is that we are removing that bot from the one array that we're filtering on. So we just say filter out any bot in that array that has an ID that matches the bot that got clicked. And here's where we do our plumbing. We pass in that discharge bot to both the bot army and bot collection. In both of those, we're going to pass down discharge bot to bot card. In bot card, we're destructuring that out, and we are hooking it up to here. And since we only want the X to fire, not the whole card, we're going to stop the propagation back up of that event handler so it doesn't trigger the other one. Boom. Is that what you're looking for?
Yes. Thank you.
Speed run. Cool. What else we got? Are folks feeling any better about the challenge after going through this? Let me stop our share. I can see faces. There we are. Folks feeling better after this? Worse, the same? Awesome. Kind of the same. Cool. Sweet. Well, I will I'm going to put this in a branch on this repo and push it up, since this is this repo is only for you, so don't worry about other people seeing it. So that'll be in a solution branch on this. I'll push that up, and I will post this video in the usual places on the channel and on the playlist on YouTube. And yeah, I'll be available to answer questions on this or anything else. Cool. Last call before we call it. Good. Sweet. Thanks for hanging out. This is I think the most fun moment in the entire course for me, like going through this lab. So it's a good time. Cool. Well, I'll post up all the stuff, and I will see you all in just a little bit for stand down after lunch. Bye.